Hi everyone, this is Yoga with Deanna, and I'm Deanna, this is Bosley. We'll go ahead and get started, grab something comfortable, and I'll meet you on your mat.
For today's practice, we will focus on really improving the strength and stability and flexibility of the spine. We'll also get into the neck and the chest and really a nice full body restorative flow today. So let's start on a block, or if you have a pillow or a bolster you'd like to prop the hips up, just get in a comfortable seated position, and we'll start with a little brief meditation this morning. Just closing the eyes, starting to settle into your body. Begin to deepen your breath. Taking a moment each day to find your center. And what that may mean is to let go of the past, the stories of the past, any judgments, any emotions tied to the past, any expectations or anticipations of the future. And just bring your attention and your awareness to this present moment. And a great tool to do that is to follow the breath. Following the breath in and out. And then beginning to tune into the sensations in the body. Bringing your awareness to the soles of the feet, your knees. Just taking a moment in each place just to feel into it. Scanning your body, seeing how you feel today. Traveling up to the belly. Bringing awareness to that inhale as you expand and fill the lungs. And then using that exhale to soften, relax, release. Allow the shoulders just to melt down towards the floor. And then bringing that awareness to the jaw, the temples, the forehead. Scanning the body, seeing if there's anywhere you are holding on to tension today. We have a lot going on in our world right now, and it is easy to get caught up and distracted in the fear and the emotions that are swirling around us right now. So for this next few moments together, let's just allow that all to melt away. Come back to who we are, not our experiences or our environment, but this true, beautiful essence of our nature. Just imagining you have a trap door on the top of the head. You're just opening up that door. Just allow any judgment, any expectations, any emotions, anticipations, any fears or worries, to-do lists. Let any of that just flow out of that trap door. And then tucking the chin towards the chest, keeping the eyes closed, just bowing the head forward. Just imagine you're energetically just dumping all of that out. Just releasing, surrendering to this present moment. We'll take one final full breath in, breathing in life, breathing in gratitude. Then exhale, open the mouth, sigh it out. Begin to open the eyes. We'll talk a lot about coming to this place of center today, really strengthening the spine, strengthening that core, helps us to stay present in our bodies. So we'll start off this morning with just getting into the neck, release that right ear over to that right shoulder, maybe walking the fingertips out, and just feel that stretch all along that left side of the neck. And be gentle. This may be your first kind of movement for the day. And take a full breath into the chest, and then bring that gaze over that right shoulder, keeping that angle in the neck, just getting into the back side here. We'll come back through neutral, and this time that left ear comes to that left shoulder. Ah, that feels good. See if you can lift through the heart, keeping that spine long, and using those fingertips to get a little bit more length. And then we'll bring that gaze over that left shoulder. That feels good this morning. And practicing here this morning, but at whatever time in your day, this can just be really nice to release that tension in the chest, the shoulders, the neck. Our modern life tends to build a lot of tension here. So we'll come back through center, and then with the nose, just begin to paint some circles, maybe starting with a wide, slow circle, imagining you have that paintbrush on the tip of your nose, and you're just making a big, wide circle all the way up and around. If it feels good here to close the eyes, feel free to do so. This is your practice. And then we'll reverse that direction. We talk so much about breath in yoga because it really helps us to release that tension in the body, to move deeper into our own self-awareness, and to oxygenate the body, the cells, the tissues, the organs for better function. And then we'll come back through center. This time sweep the arms all the way out as if this is your first stretch of the day. Reach through those fingertips, and then we'll exhale, release the hands. We'll bring that right hand towards that left knee, and then just float those left fingertips back. Just coming into a seated twist. You can use that knee to kind of anchor in, finding length in the spine as you twist. Keeping the shoulders down and away from the ears. And then we'll release through center. We're going to sweep the arms all the way back up one more time, coming all the way to the top, reach. And then exhale, release down. This time that left hand comes to that right knee, floating the right fingertips back. Coming into a twist on this side, maybe bringing that gaze over that right shoulder, towards that right shoulder. Feel that twist coming from the spine, coming from the middle of the torso. And we'll release back through center. And this time we're going to begin to make some circles with the elbows. Just imagine you're kind of swimming in the water here. Bringing the elbows in, like you have little chicken arms here, and then rotating those elbows out. Just lubricating our joints. Ah, that feels good. And we'll just shake that one out. Let's scoot back here, and we'll uncross our legs. This time we'll bring our hands behind us. Allow the knees just to fall over to the right. Let gravity kind of do the work here, but as you press the knees down, lift the chest and then bring the gaze to the opposite direction. So your knees are pointing to the right, your gaze is pointing to the left. Feel that chest opening. And as we release, we'll come through center, release the knees over to the left. This time, gaze comes to the right. See if you can press into the hands, lift the heart. And then feel that expansion across the collarbones, across the shoulders. It's a beautiful blue jay outside my window right now. So stoic and still. Then we'll come back through center, shake the legs a little side to side. Come off the hands, and we're going to pivot around onto our tabletop. And from our tabletop, just check in that we're stacking the wrists below the shoulders, knees below the hips. We'll start out this morning with some cat-cow. So bring that gaze forward, let the belly drop, lifting the tailbone. Drawing the shoulders down and away from the ears, finding that length in the front of the body here. Just take a few rounds of breath. Be mindful of that low back. And then as we press into the hands, we lower the head and we create that rounding with the back. So as if we're shining the back of the heart all the way up to the sky, opening up across the shoulder blades, holding here for a moment, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, belly button towards the spine, and then we'll release. Maybe closing the eyes and then tuning into your own breath, using that as your guide as you move through cat-cow. Exhale to release to this rounded back in cat. And then inhale, moving you back through cow. Finding that length in the spine. And then as you release, move through cow, finding that length in the front of the body. I once heard that our health is really dependent on the health of our spine. Our cerebral spinal fluid sends messages and signals to our entire body. And so making sure that that is flowing is very vital to our health. And then we'll come back through this neutral place, starting to get into the balance sequence here. We'll extend that left leg back, press through the heels, and then lift that leg off the mat parallel with your yoga mat. Press through the heels, really stamp that leg, very active in your left leg here. And then tucking that belly button in towards the spine, so if you can find a little bit of a lift from the belly. And then if you're ready, you can reach that right arm all the way out in front. So one long line from your fingertips all the way back to your heel. So if you're kind of shaking someone's hand, gaze can be straight down to your mat. And then really reach, find a little bit more length. Starting to feel that heat build in the body. Strengthening those tiny muscle fibers. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring that elbow towards the knee, crunching it in, give it a nice squeeze. And then inhale, comes back through. If you need to bring a hand to the mat for some more stability, you can. Take it, inhale, exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to expand, last one, reach. And then exhale, elbow to knee, one more time. Strengthening that core, we'll release that back down. If you need to take a little break off the wrists, you can. Just kind of roll it out. And we'll come right back into it. Extend the right leg long this time, parallel with the floor. Stamping that foot on that back wall, depending on where you are in your house, and then reach that left hand all the way out. Again, tuck in that belly, so kind of tucking the belly button in towards the spine, just finding a little length in that low back. Feel the muscles start to turn on, starting to build that heat. Full inhale, and then exhale, draws the elbow in towards the knee. Inhale to expand, find length, and then exhale, elbow towards the knee, squeeze everything in. Final one, inhale out, reach, lengthen, expand, and then exhale, and draw it in. We'll release that back down to tabletop. Wag the tail a little here, just kind of shake out those hips. If you need to do the little wrist circles or give them a break. We're going to come back into our left leg extended behind us. So left leg back, press through the heel, and this time we're going to cross those toes, those left toes over that right foot, and then just bring our gaze back. So not only do we want to work on the flexibility of our spine as far as the front and the back, but also really side to side. And we'll lift that left foot all the way up, bringing it out to the side of that left hip. Press the hip and the seat back in space. Find a little bit of movement of your own here that feels good. Then we'll walk our hands up. This right leg is just shooting straight out from that hip joint here. And then we'll sweep the right arm all the way up and over, getting a nice side body stretch. That feels good this morning. Sweeping that right hand all the way back to the floor. Reach the left fingertips. Reaching and lengthening. If you want to find a little bit of a lift in that left foot, a little bit more balance, more of a challenge here. We'll release that foot to the ground. Spin back to the mat, and then we'll switch legs here. This time that right leg's behind us, lifting and then crossing over that left foot. Gaze comes back towards those toes. Sometimes I like to come up on my fingertips for this just to get a little bit more length in the spine. Otherwise you can just be on the palms, I should say, not the balls of the hands, the palms of the hands. Breathing. Still being very intentional about finding length in that spine, even though we're in a bit of a twist here. And then on that next exhale, we're going to release that leg back. This time we'll sweep it all the way out to the right, lining up with that hip joint. Walk the hands back. Sweep that left arm all the way up and over. Getting into the side of the ribs, side body, maybe even tucking that booty kind of underneath so you can really get that lift. And then exhale, we'll sweep the right hand down, the left hand, down. The right arm comes overhead. Reach to those fingertips. And then begin to lift that right foot off the mat. Finding a little bit of balance here this morning in these crazy times. Bringing that balance maybe into your day. The beauty of balanced postures is they require us to focus our mind. We'll sweep the arms back through center. And this time we'll walk the hands forward, find a few circles with the hips. Just be mindful of that low back here and just what feels good in your body. And then we'll start to move in the opposite direction. And we'll press the hips all the way back, coming into a brief child's pose. Release the head all the way down. If you need to have it come to a block or a pillow, otherwise just Soften the forehead down to the mat. Feel that extra length in the spine that you created. Maybe coming up onto the fingertips, finding a little bit of length in the underside of the arms here. Finding that connection to the earth through your mat. Inviting in that sensation of grounding. Feeling connected and supported. And then we'll walk the fingertips all the way back in. We're going to come on down to our bellies. From here, we'll zip up the legs as if you had a little tail back there. Tops of the feet are pressing into the mat. We'll draw the hands all the way down, fingers spread wide. Right, fingertips right below the collarbone there. Tuck the elbows in towards the side of the body and begin to peel that head, neck, and chest off the mat. Be light on the hands, really using the upper back here, the mid back. Gaze is just towards the top of your mat, really squeezing those elbows together. One more full inhale. And then exhale as we slowly release back to the mat. Stack the hands, release the forehead, allow the heels just to fall open. Let everything go. Quick reset between these back bends. For this next one, we're going to draw the fingers down. You have an option of coming back into that low cobra, Bhujangasana, or you can come all the way up to a full cobra. If you decide to come up here, keep the elbows slightly bent. We don't lock them out. And then see if you can anchor the shoulders down away from the ears. So just be mindful of that low back. If there's any pain or discomfort, just back off. And bring the gaze over that left shoulder. Back through center, then over the right. And then we'll slowly lower that back down. Stack the hands, release the feet, let everything go. All right, this time we're going to zip up the legs. Our hands are going to come all the way down by our sides, palms facing down for this one. And as we peel that head, neck, and chest off the mat, we're going to lift the feet. Lift the legs, really active, strong glutes here. Lifting, maybe you want to bring the hands with you. Coming into this locust pose, really using the back of the body. Lift, inhale, and then slowly exhale, release that down. We'll stack the hands, bend the knees, and then just windshield wiper the legs back and forth. All right, we're going to release the legs back to the mat. And this time we're going to draw that right leg all the way up. So we're coming kind of perpendicular here. And just as if you're kind of going to straddle something here. I guess that's the best way to say it. And then we'll take that right hand. We're going to thread that arm underneath the left arm. Go ahead and grab the knee. And then we'll sweep that left arm all the way open and back. So coming into a twist, just a different variation here. That left shoulder may not hit the mat. That's okay. If you have any discomfort in the arms there, you can always bring that a little closer to the body. Otherwise, open up that left hand, that left arm, then feel that nice twist. This is a little bit deeper than our seated twist. So take some full rounds of breath here. Squeezing out those internal organs, detoxification, digestion, supporting those elimination pathways, increasing that flexibility in the spine and improving that cerebral spinal fluid that we talked about earlier. And then on the next exhale, we'll bring that left hand all the way back to the mat, or just slowly kind of take your time to unwind. Release that left leg down. And this time we'll move right into the other side. So that right leg comes up, taking that left hand, crossing it under the body. Grab a hold of that knee, and then when you're ready, you'll sweep that right arm all the way up and over. These twists feel so good today. And then notice if there's any tension that started to build in the face, any tightness in the jaw, the shoulders. If you can just be aware of that. Soften into the mat. This can be a pretty intense twist here. So maybe using that exhale, using your breath as you breathe out, just to sink, surrender into the pose. Take a full breath in. And then exhale as we unwind, taking your time. We're going to press our hands into the mat, pressing all the way back to a little child's pose here, or a version of child's pose. Walk the hands forward and or the hips forward, and just release them to the mat. Just a little variation here, kind of the quad rocker. So just pressing the hips back and then lowering them down towards the mat. So we should be nice and warmed up now. Last one, release the hips forward and pressing the booty back towards the heels, finding that new length that you built in the spine. And then we're going to crawl the hands forward, walking them back. That's a long way of just saying come up onto the knees. And then we'll step this left foot forward. Ooh, I got some carpet on me here. Coming into a low lunge. So just take a minute to kind of feel into the hips. Just checking in that knee is not crossing over the ankle. So we want to just be kind of mindful again of those joints, that alignment. Sinking into the hips, and then we'll bring the hands overhead. And as we exhale, draw the elbows back as if you're cactusing the arms, lifting the chest. Maybe bring the gaze up for a little bit more balance. I should say more of a balance challenge. Then we'll bring the hands back through center, crossing that left elbow over that right knee. And pressing into the knee, getting in another nice twist. And we'll release that back. Begin to straighten that right leg, keeping a soft bend in the knee here. So we don't want to hyperextend that knee. So just keeping a gentle bend, toes are towards the nose. And just imagine that right hip crease is just pressing back in space. So you're just drawing that right crease back. Staying long in the spine. And then rounding that head towards the knee. If you do a lot of seated activity or work in your day, it's going to be really nice just to open up the back channels of the leg, the hamstrings, the calf muscles. And then as we slowly come out of this, we'll walk that right foot out to the side, and then we'll switch legs here. If you need to do any shakeouts with the hips, otherwise we'll bring that left leg all the way up into a runner's lunge here, or a low lunge on this side. And when you're ready, we'll sweep the arms all the way overhead, soften the shoulders down, and then begin to cactus the arms, lifting the chest, lifting the gaze, drawing those elbows towards one another at the back. And then we'll release, hands come through that heart center to that prayer pose, and then cross that right elbow over that left knee, coming to a twist on this side. I don't know about you, but my body was in need of these twists today. And then we'll begin to unwind on this side, taking your time, and then pressing the hips back as you straighten that left leg, keeping that little micro bend, toes towards the nose, and a little bit more length in the spine. Each leg may feel a little bit different too. I know mine do today. And that's one of the benefits of yoga, is helping to bring more balance to the body. Then we'll begin to round the head towards the knee. Feeling that nice full body stretch from the back of the calf, all the way up the leg, all the way back through the spine, into the neck. Imagining you're bringing that left crease, that hip crease now back in space slightly. And then we'll start to unwind, coming all the way forward. My carpet is shedding. And this time we're going to step all the way into a forward fold. So if you need to walk the feet forward, you can. Otherwise, meet me at the top of your mat. We're going to really generously bend the knees and walk the feet out a little bit wider than hip distance. So create some space for the hips here, and then release that head, neck, and chest down. Just sway a little, rocking a little side to side. See if you can really release the heavy head. Imagining you have a magnet on the center or the top of the head, and it's just drawing you down to the floor. And then we'll start to heel toe the feet in, walking the hands up, the thighs, coming into that flat back, starting to straighten the legs, straighten the spine, and then press into the thighs. Find that length again in the spine here. Gaze is down, neck is long. And then just wag the tail a little side to side. And then we'll begin to walk the hands all the way up the body. Come into this mountain pose. Bring the palms out to the sides. Gaze is forward. Anchor those shoulders down and away from the ears towards the mat. Slight lift in the heart. And just check in with your tailbone here. Can you draw the hips right underneath the body? And then close the eyes. And from Tadasana, we'll sweep the arms all the way up and overhead. And then as we exhale, we'll release the hands back. We're going to step back into a warrior one. So that back left foot is angled at about 45 degrees. And then if you need to separate the feet a little bit for some more stability here, you can. There's no need to be on a tightrope. And we'll bend towards 90 with that front knee. Bringing our hands to our hips and then just drawing them towards the front of our mat here. When you're ready, you can bring the arms overhead. If you have any shoulder injuries, you always have the option of just keeping the hands here at the heart center. Reach to the fingertips, really pressing into that long edge of the back foot, feeling that back leg very engaged. Great for boosting our circulation in our body. And we'll bring the hands back through center, kick off that back foot, step back into Tadasana. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. And as we exhale, we're going to step this right foot back, coming into warrior one on this side. Virabhadrasana. Root down into that right foot, draw the hips towards the front of the mat. So we bend towards 90 with that front knee. You need to scoot your foot out a little here. And then we'll bring the arms up with us. Imagine now you're kind of drawing that left crease, that left hip crease back in space. Soften the shoulders. Find space around the neck. Then we'll release the hands through center, kick off that back foot, step into our mountain pose at the top of the mat. We'll release the hands here. I'm going to move into our warrior three, another balance sequence here. So if you need to come to kind of the middle of your mat, we'll begin to step that left foot back here, just anchoring on the toes. All the weight is really on this right foot here. So rooting down into the right foot, imagining just like a tree, you have roots that are anchoring you into the earth. And with any balance pose, really important that we find a focal point, or in yoga we call it a drishti. So focus on a point that's not moving, bring all your awareness to that point, and then sweep your arms overhead. This right leg is straight and sturdy, and as you are ready, begin to lift those left toes off the mat as you pivot the chest forward. Find your own range of motion here. The right leg is straight and strong. Reach for the fingertips, press through that foot. Breathing, and then slowly coming out with control. If you can, we'll release the hands. And that wobbling and that shaking that you may experience, that's great. That shows that we're really strengthening those tiny muscle fibers in the body that really stabilize and hold us together. So we'll switch right away to the other leg. Press the right toes back, lengthening and straightening that left leg, all of our weight into that root of the right foot. Sweeping the arms overhead, soften the shoulders down, and then as you begin to lift the back foot off the mat, start to pivot the chest forward, just kind of like a teeter-totter here. Take your time, find your expression. And then we'll slowly make our way all the way out. Release our hands down. We're going to shake that one out as well. We're going to come onto the mat as we kind of wrap up our practice here. If you'd like to, if you have a block with you or a blanket or a pillow, kind of bring that down with us. And as we make our way down, I'm actually going to use the block today, but if you have a pillow, you can use that as well. And we'll just come up onto a little squat here. So finding that kind of base of the seat here. Might not be the most comfortable seat, but we're just going to take a minute here just to kind of open up the hips. So we'll draw those elbows out towards the sides of the legs, kind of pressing the knees away from one another. You can use the hands to really get in there. Walk the feet out and just feel that nice hip opening. We tend to store a lot of tension and emotion in our hips. It is the largest joint of our body. So it can be really nice just to take a minute and try to release some of that tension. So maybe closing the eyes here. We've built some heat in the body, so start to bring the breath back into that rhythmic flow. Inhale, filling, and then that length on the exhale. See if you can find a little softness in the hips. And we'll slowly start to release that. We'll heel toe the feet together, taking your time here. We're going to come into another little inversion today.
So if you have a chair, you can always bring your legs on top of a chair. Otherwise, I'll show you with a block today as well. This is just a great way to get a good inversion in. You can always use a wall and just kind of bring your legs up the wall. But for today, I'll use this block. So we'll lift the hips up, bring that block right underneath the sacrum. So that kind of triangular space back there. And you can do it on the lowest setting, you can do it on the highest setting, just really whatever feels good in your practice. But find that place that feels kind of sturdy and stable. Bring the hands down by the sides and then start to bring one knee up and then the other leg with it. Might have to adjust here. Just allowing the legs, the feet to fully relax. Inversions are so great for reversing that blood flow, giving that heart, that pump of our body just a little bit of a break. It's very normal for the feet to feel a little tingly, maybe you start to feel a little cool. If you have any high uncontrolled blood pressure, you may want to do a modified version of this with just legs on a chair. Otherwise, I encourage you to bring this into your practice daily. Whether you can do 1, 2, 3, or 5 minutes even, really reaping all the benefits. It's a great boost for our immune system. It can really help to calm the nervous system, getting us into that parasympathetic state. And what we know is that in the parasympathetic state is where that rest, that digest, that healing really occurs. This is also great for restless leg, or any swelling or edema in the feet or lower part of the legs. So just close the eyes. Tune back into your body. Doing a quick scan here. Is there anywhere that is starting to hold tension? Check in with the face, the chest, the hips. Just be here for another moment. So really soaking it in. And as we come out of this, we begin to bend the knees, release one foot to the floor and then the next, lifting those hips up, and then release the legs all the way down on the floor. We'll take a moment here in Savasana, just with the palms open, legs maybe separated a little bit wider on the mat. And just see if you can kind of let everything go. Just letting the body recalibrate after our practice, integrating our postures, our breath work, our intention behind why we showed up today. Bringing one hand to the belly, one hand to the chest. Feeling that heartbeat, that prana or that life force flowing in and out of the body. And just taking a moment to be grateful. Grateful for the breath, for the body, for the sun. For all the things in our life that are unchanging at the moment. You can go ahead and stay here. Really soaking in this space. Otherwise, if you'd like to meet me in a seated position, just close us out today. Feel free to stay in Savasana. This is your practice. Just keeping the eyes soft, the gaze soft, or the eyes closed. We'll bring the hands to the heart center if you're in the seated position with me. Just tap in for a moment to that inner strength, that inner warrior. Using our breath throughout our day to bring us into this present moment. This present moment is where the magic happens. And I invite you to bring this practice into your daily activities, whether you are cooking or eating a meal, playing with your kids, maybe gardening. Whatever activity you're doing today, see if you can really be present. And a tip I have for that is to tune into the sensations in that present moment. You tune into the smell of the food you're cooking or the feeling of the dirt in your hands as you're gardening. Maybe the sound of the child's laughter as you guys are playing. Just tuning into the senses helps to anchor us into this present moment. And this present moment is really where our power lies. May you have a beautiful day, yogis. Thanks for joining me. Namaste.